episode of Project Analysis series. We are wearing the same clothes because we are filming 2 videos today.
Yes, because the timeline is so short, right? We got no choice. We got to rush out all the numbers and the analysis and also shoot both videos on the same day. But today we are going to talk about
Nava Grove. Okay, let's take a look at the artist's impression of Nava Grove. Hey, before we begin, where is Nava Grove?
Nava Grove is at Pine Grove, correct? Pine Grove, right? Pine Grove, yeah. Too many projects already, my mind a bit confused. But you see this one look like what? Look like Pinetree Hill. Nava Grove and Pinetree is actually at Mount Sinai area, which is quite a private enclave area. We are going to talk about it later to show you a bit more. But these two projects look very similar. So today, bear in mind, we are going to use a lot of comparison between Nava and Pinetree. Because why? Because there is still units available in Pinetree. So before we enter into this development, we also want to see our surrounding, what do we have, what can we buy if we want to buy a properties in this area. So a lot of comparison will be done between these two projects. Okay, so where is Nava Grove? It's here.
Is within 1 kilometer to Henry Park.
Yeah.
Primary.
Yeah, so here. So the MRT is here. In short, is cannot walk on. Very far. Just now, Chuan Park, we keep talking about very near MRT, 1 minute. This one is not walking distance. So this is Nava Grove.
Nava Grove is a Parcel B land. It's a government land sale. It's next to Pinetree Hill, which is Parcel A sale.
Yep.
So these two developments, right, out of the entire Mount Sinai area, these are the newest development. The last time there is actually a development was more than 10 over years. I think 14 if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So whatever it is, once you were to enter this Mount Sinai area, you cannot miss these two projects. And your future resale buyer will also pay attention to these two projects because of course it's the newest. So it's very essential that we will be comparing a lot to Pinetree Hill today.
Correct.
Because your resale buyer will be looking at both.
Okay,
right?
so you can see from here, this is actually the whole Mount Sinai area. And you can see these are all private properties, all condos here. Then these are all the landed property. HDB is at Gilmore area. It's a very quiet and nice area. Later we have take some videos with it. But one of the key things between Nava Grove and Pinetree, what is the difference? Pinetree is non-harmonized, Nava is harmonized. This is a direct comparison of two new developments side by side with harmonized and non-harmonized. Later we will see what are the things that we want to take note between these two, okay? This is the environment.
Okay, why will we show you this environment? Because this area is not very accessible to, say, MRT, right? But this area reminds me of key residences. Basically, it's in a very secluded area. So it appeals to this group of people that really enjoy peace, quiet, scenery, greeneries. Which, to me, I think is a luxury in Singapore because we are always very busy. I personally don't like those very busy areas.
So we want to understand when we buy for own stay, right? Especially if you are selling a resale property. Why would we say that? Because we sell a lot of resale property. We know what kind of things buyers are looking for when they're buying resale. But when you are selling a resale property, those locations is super convenient one. Sometimes it comes with heavy traffic. Not say something, I would say most of the time it comes with heavy traffic. Convenient might not be the top choice for people who are buying for own stay. Because now most of the buyers drive So they want a good drive home, it's quiet, it's not so jammed up during peak hours, non-peak hours is nice. These are very important key elements for her own stay project to actually do well, or a property to actually sell at a good profit. I'm not a strong believer that buy near MRT sure make money. If you go to places like Watertown, the profit at TOP is quite bad. Why? You drive, you'll know already. Every time I want to go to the shopping mall, Waterway Point, you make a U-turn, you need to wait one. Because there will be a queue. So imagine you're one of the residents, you want to go home, you also need a queue.
Even though there's a separate entrance.
Because the traffic is still together. So that is one of the key elements. You want to buy a property for own stay, please drive down to feel yourself.
Over here, you can see the video that we have over here. This is taken on normal day. However, you can see how clear the traffic is. Even during the peak hours, right? It won't differ much from this. And you can see we are surrounded by a lot of greeneries. And this is the kind of environment, you have to feel the environment when you buy this kind of resale property, right?
Correct. So the key difference between buying a resale and a new is resale, you feel the environment before you see the unit. But a lot of people buy new, they don't see the environment, they just buy based on, oh, I'm near MRT, I buy, I'm near this location, I buy. But when you really drive down, it's not a fantastic location that you want to live in. So even buying new properties, after visiting the show flat, you need to go down to the environment to feel the place, whether this is a place that you would like to stay. That's very important. Now we want to show you some example of condos that's near MRT and far from MRT. Does it mean that you are near, you are making a lot of money? I think this is something that we want to go through.
So over here we have got Principal Garden, which is further away from MRT. And in a way, the environment is also very alike to Nava Grove and also this Pine Grove area.
And the building also looks same.
Okay, it is a very nice drive home basically, okay? Then we are comparing it to another development called Alex Residences, which is near MRT, literally like a 3 minutes walk.
3 minutes walk.
Yeah, we want to see, hey, does closer to MRT actually make more money?
Yes. So how we look at this? So we're based on a 2-bedroom to do a comparison for you. So this is a 2-bedroom in Alex Residence, bought at 1721 per square foot, okay? Sold at 2001, profit $248,888. But Principal Garden, the one that is very far, not walking distance to MRT, bought at 1628, cheaper because it's further from MRT. So they bought at 5.7% lower. But they actually sold at 9.7% higher, which means that they sold $200 per square foot higher. But the key thing is that we want to go through is, we always think that near MRT you will sell higher, but in this situation it's very different. Why? Why one project that is so far from the MRT can make money? Because Principal is actually in Prince Charles Crescent. So if you really take a drive down, this whole area is all condos and landed, and it's extremely quiet and nice. So a lot of buyers actually like to stay there. That's a very good comparison to what we are looking at now in terms of Nava Grove. This proves one thing: don't need to be near MRT to make a lot of money. We just need to look at many small elements when you want to buy a property.
So, another example that we're giving you is Riverfront Residences, which is very far from MRT as well. Really cannot walk one. Versus Sengkang Grand Residences, which is on top of Buangkok MRT. You can see back then they launched around the same time. Both are selling around the same time, right?
Yeah.
In terms of price, the average price is about 400 PSF differences. Okay, but right now we want to take a look at what happened in the resale market, given that Sengkang Grand is more convenient because it's on top of MRT. Correct.
4-bedroom in Riverfront Residences, highest profit 810,000 because they bought way cheaper, 1326 per square foot, sold at 1872 per square foot. I mean, it's surprising, but now you look at Sengkang Grand, right? Bought at 1761. So the main difference is the purchase price is about $400 different because one is near MRT, but the sales price is 182. This is 1927. Actually, the sales price, you don't see much of a difference in profit in terms of the sales price, even though you're near MRT. So this is 217,000 profit for not even a 1-minute walk because it's right on top of the MRT, versus one that is super far from the MRT, 810,000. So another example of you do not need to be near MRT to make money. But I want to explain the location a bit here for Riverfront. So you can see Riverfront is actually here. We're actually beside this river. It's a nice environment. And I stay around this area. So when I drive, I always like to go into this road, which is the Riverfront. This is Hougang Avenue 7, I think. Why I like to go here? Because at any hours, there's no car. Very little car. Peak hours also no car. You drive in there, you feel like, hey, you are suddenly to a different place because this upper Serangoon is super heavy, but this road got no car. The drive home is nice. And you exit from KPE here, you actually only need to come in a short drive of heavy traffic and you'll turn in this side. Overall, it's a very nice feeling, environment-wise, to drive home. But if you ask me convenient or not, totally not convenient. Okay? Next, we will go into the project information for Nava.
Okay, so for Nava Grove, it is also on the elevated layout, and of course the whole building is also elevated. Expected TOP is 2028. Actually, most of the launches these days TOP around the same time. There is about 552 residential units altogether. But I think what's more important, we want to take a look at the site plan because we realized something very interesting here. To give you an overview, right? Over here, this part over here where I shaded, this is the forest area. So if you go very high, actually, you can get a very good greenery view. Okay, we do have drone view for that, so you can reach out to us. And then over here, this is where Pinetree Hill is. So they are just next door neighbor, okay? And then over here in front, these are all the older developments. So these old developments, they are tall blocks, there are also short blocks. But all in all, below certain level, you will get block. Okay? But what's interesting here is that we do see all the small units tend to have the best view. Why do we say so? Over here, you look at the small units. Small units are generally those in the pink, or basically they are sandwiched in the middle, because big units usually will be on the side. That's how developer usually plan it. So we can see the big units over here. Maybe or not they will get blocked, but generally the small units maybe have the best view in this development.
Because you can see from here, the small units in the middle, so the big units at the side. This one will be blocked by Pinetree. This unit, big one, will be blocked here. So the side units are all blocked, except only this side. The center unit are all the unblocked ones. So surprisingly, this development, the small unit might get the best facing. Most of the units, which is not common. Now you can see from here. So you can see that the unblocked view that we are talking about, but the side unit will be blocked, to be honest. Which means that your master bedroom here will still be blocked. Correct. So overall, the smaller unit will get the better view for this development. So this is the distribution chart. 2-bedroom, we have quite majority in the 2-bedroom segment, which is about 250 units there about. 3-bedroom, about 180 units, and the rest will be 4 and 5. Unsurprisingly, there's a 4 dual key in this development. Later I will tell you more about the 4 dual key. 4-bedroom, we got split into the normal 4 and the 4 with private lift, and there's a 5-bedroom here. The distribution is quite similar to Pinetree Hill.
Let's move on to the layout. So what we said in the earlier this part of the video, that we'll be doing a lot of comparison with Pinetree Hill, because the same group of buyer looking at Nava Grove will also be the same group of buyer looking at Pinetree Hill in the resale market in future. Okay. So for the 2-bedroom layout, there are altogether 3 different types. The first one is the 2-bedroom, which is 624 square feet. Okay, so for the 2-bedroom wise, they are all external facing. We have got the very good forest view on the top left-hand corner of this screen, you will see. And then bottom one, depending on which level you go, it may or may not be blocked, okay? In terms of the layout, it's a very classic, I would say, dumbbell layout, right? You have got an entrance, and then we have a kitchen here, okay? No window, which is, again, quite a norm, right? 1 bathroom, and then 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
Yeah, basically that is quite a classic layout.
Main key 624, the size is actually small, but key thing is that it can make the price very manageable. Comparing to Pinetree, 2-bedroom, 1 toilet is actually 700 square feet. Later we will do the comparison for you. So which means that you might have an edge in terms of the pricing that you are coming in here. We will look at the prices later on. But in terms of the layout, it's not the most fantastic, but 624 with an enclosable kitchen, very rare in the market. Usually this type of layout, you want a kitchen that can be enclosed one. You need at least 700 square feet. And the dining area, although it's not very proper, but you still have a place for you to put a 4-seater. So everything is needed is inside. And there's still a storeroom here, I think. So everything is inside. So now we look at the different comparison between
the 2-bedroom premium. Okay, so just now we have the smallest 2-bedroom. Right now we are going on to the 2-bedroom premium. For the 2-bedroom premium, only one size, 700 square feet. However, there is a slight differences in terms of the layout, mainly with the dining area. So you can see EP1, which is the one on the left-hand side, this dining area will eat into your corridor space, which obviously will make the flat look a bit smaller, okay? And then the BP2 got a very nicely designated dining area, which is just as well functional, okay? But you notice so far, right, basically for all the 2-bedroom layouts, it's all dumbbell. So they can be quite similar in a sense. Okay? Then, we have got the last but not least, the 2+ study. So the 2+ study is also quite common in the current new launches. But this study is frankly, in terms of size, is quite big, I would say. So there's the entrance, and then you have got a very nice tucked-in kitchen, and then we have the study area, which is a Jack and Jill style toilet to one of the bedroom.
Yes, why would we say that it's big? Because 786 versus Pinetree Hill 797. Pinetree Hill seems bigger, 797, but remember Pinetree Hill is non-harmonized. 797, and here is harmonized 786. The 2+ study seems a bit big, which means that the gap between the 2+ study and the 3 might be very close in terms of pricing, because they actually build quite big in terms of the size itself. We will tell you what are the choices we have later on, but before we go into that, we want to also run through what do we think is the possible price that we can launch. First, we want to take Lentoria and Lentor Mansion first. Why would I want to take that? Because I want to understand, usually based on the land price difference, how much difference in per square foot they will launch, so that we can use it to predict for Nava what price they will launch. Okay? And if the launch price is below what we predicted, it means one thing. Actually, to be honest, Nava developer actually make lesser than Lentor Mansion developer. They are eating into their profit at the start. And this proves a point, which is what? If they actually have lower profit in the start, which means at the back they will have higher profit. They will want to push up the prices to make back the differences. Here we look at here, Lentoria and Lentor Mansion. Lentoria land price is 1130, Lentor Mansion is 985 per square foot. Difference is 14.7% in terms of the two land price. And the launch price for Lentor average is 2112. Lentor Mansion is 2274, which means that Lentor Mansion is 7.7% higher in launch price. Land price is 14.7% cheaper. Okay? We add up these two. Why we add up? Because I buy the land cheaper by 14%, but I launch 7.7% higher, which means the difference is 22.4% for a harmonized and non-harmonized unit. Okay? So if we take this 22.4% gauge to put it here, okay, we will see this. Look at Pinetree Hill and Nava. Nava Grove bought 7.9% cheaper. If we are using the same gauge, which means that the developer are working on the same percentage of profit margin, Nava will have to launch 14.5% higher than Pinetree Hill in terms of average, which means we will be looking at about 2,667 per square foot. If you get anything cheaper than this, because I heard Nava they might launch quite cheap. If you can get 2.4 plus or 2.5, I think it's really a good price that you can actually go into. Because if we base on what I have mentioned here, Lentor Mansion and Lentoria, we will know this should be almost the standard difference that we have throughout all the other developments that we are looking at. I only take Lentoria and Lentor Mansion. Why? Because there isn't a lot of harmonized and non-harmonized side by side together. So this is the only example I can take. If you don't understand this part, because it seems like a lot of numbers, you can reach out to us, we can show you more. But before that, I will try to explain a bit more, which means that the upper range and the lower range, there's this gap of 22.4% for Lentoria and Lentor Mansion. So we apply this to other developments. Okay? Why we want to do that? Because all the land price for harmonized is cheaper, but the launch price is higher. This is the trend that we see because of the margin that the developer have to cut away to the aircon latch, all these things. There will always be this 20% gap. Other developments might have 18, 17, so we will eventually find an average of the gap.
Yeah,
but now it's based on 22.
First few. Okay, the reason why we wanted to have a gauge of what Nava is going to launch is because we also need to use this price to estimate the ultimate wholesale value of the units that we're going to get.
Correct.
Okay? So for the two-bedroom, just now as we go through, right, there are a few different layouts. But we also want to know, in terms of, let's say, a 2-bed, 1-bath, how does Pinetree's 2-bed, 1-bath have got to offer? How much have they sold at? So we will also roughly know, are we getting in at a very safe entry price?
Yes.
Okay, so on the left-hand side over here, we have got Nava Grove, smallest 2-bed, 1-bath, smallest 2-bedroom as well. As you can see here, Nava Grove is 2-bed, 1-bath, right? If based on the 2005 per square foot estimation, we are looking at 1.56. This is 2005. For 2006, we are looking at 1.62. Okay, for 2007, we are looking at 1.68. This is the estimated prices for the launch. Now, let's take a look at Pinetree. Just now, Alex also mentioned, for the Pinetree, right, the 2-bed, 1-bath, similar layout is 700 square feet. And what are the transacted prices over here?
The highest done recently is at 1.736 million. You can see a lot of transaction that is above 1.7 million. Main thing is because it's 700 square feet. Like I just now show you, projected Nava launch will be 2,600 plus per square foot. But if they can go very close to Pinetree launch price, their overall quantum will be way lower, which is about over 1,000 cheaper than Pinetree. So if you see Nava at 2,005 per square foot for the 2-bed, 1-bath, I tell you, this is a price that you will not be able to get back in future. Because now you go to Lentor area, is also 1.5 over million.
Correct.
So the gauge for you, if it's 2,005 per square foot, as you can see from this side, $1.56 million. If it's 2005, have to buy. Definitely a good buy.
Because this means that whatever that's transacted now, you have got about close to 200,000 kind of buffer.
Buffer, yeah. 2006, I think is still can consider, not bad. 27 is slightly on the higher side, but you are still purchasing slightly cheaper than Pinetree currently. And you can see both layout is very similar.
Yep.
So you don't see much of a differences. But I repeat again, if 25, you got a unit, you saw it, you want the area, this is a price that you have to go. Anything higher, then the risk will adjust a bit.
So if you're getting something at what the 2-bed 1-bath Pinetree is selling at right now, this is why we suggested Nava Grove 2-bed 2-bath. Because Nava Grove 2-bed 2-bath and Pinetree Hills 2-bed 1-bath is same size, 700 square feet. So obviously, if it's the same size and you have additional 1 bathroom, why not, right? And in terms of price point again, I think we have to write it down as well. Okay, for these bigger units, because we are expecting a slightly lower PSF, we are going to gauge based on 2,450. Okay, so based on 2,450, we are looking at 1.75 mil, and the other $100 increment at 1.785, and 2,650 per square foot, we are looking at 1.855. Okay, so now basically, if they were to launch at 2,450 square feet, we are actually entering at a very similar price to Pinetree Hills 2-bed 1-bath.
Yes, so you have a very good buffer because someone is actually protecting your price for you. This area, there's already transaction at 1.7 million for a 2-bedroom. They are holding the price for you very well in terms of comparing to Pinetree itself. So if you are entering at this price, I definitely think that it's very safe. But coming back to just now what we have did in terms of predicting that averagely they might want to launch it at 2,600 plus per square foot. Why we want to do that? Because we want to show you if the launch average is lower than 2,600, which means that at this moment the developer is having smaller margin. And if developer has small margin, it's good for who? It's good for buyers because developer have to increase the margin eventually. But if developer launch, they have big margin, that's the problem. We are worried that they will not increase price, first thing. Second, they might drop price. Small margin, which means small profit margin project is something that we want to buy. And if we have small margin because the developer wants to spur the sales, plus surrounding already got a project that is transacting at a much higher price, then you are entering at a very safe point, okay? If we now compare the 2+ study,
yes, so earlier, because we are comparing all the different 2-bedroom layout with Pinetree, okay? The Nava Grove 2+ study is actually 786 square feet compared to Pinetree. So this is the only 2-bedroom layout that we actually prefer Pinetree. Because for the previous two, right, we actually prefer Nava Grove because of the quantum.
Because just now we have mentioned, usually harmonized it will be way smaller than a non-harmonized, which is proven 624 compared to 700. So 700 square feet for 2-bed 1-bath for Pinetree, but Nava Grove 2-bed 1-bath is 624. So it's significantly about 10-15% smaller. But this one is not really smaller. That's why the Nava Grove price, if we base on 2450, is also very close to Pinetree prices today. If we base on 2550, actually it's exactly the same price, which means that if they launch at 2550 for the 2+ study, you will be buying at Pinetree prices today. And in terms of layout wise,
so fairly similar.
Fairly similar. I think it's not much of a difference. That's why in this situation, we will prefer Pinetree. Why? Because your TOP will be earlier, you can rent out earlier, you can stay earlier. These are the additional benefit that you will have. So the main key here is, if 2+ study, Pinetree Hill will be the preferred choice. But honestly, 2+ study, I will not buy any one of it in this location. Just let you know, because I would rather go for 3. Later we will explain to you a bit more.
So for investment purpose, we will go for the 624 square feet. And for own stay, we will go for the 700 square feet.
For Nava Grove, okay? So 3-bedroom.
Okay, so for 3-bedroom layout, again, just now earlier we used the matrix for the 2-bedroom, the estimated launch price for the 2-bedroom based on Lentor area, right? So right now we are going to use the same matrix to gauge for the 3-bedroom.
Okay. So in terms of Lentor and Lentor mentioned, the gap between land price and the launch price, there's a 23% gap, okay? Now look at Pinetree and Nava. Based on the 23% gap, the PSF that we are looking at is 2,761. So you can see here, for Pinetree area, The 3-bedroom actually have higher per square foot. Because actually a lot of people here is own stay on. Developer also don't know this. People who you are selling to next time also buying for own stay. So you need to have a very good own stay layout. Some developments, the layout is not very important. Not say that not important, but not the top importance. For Nava and Pinetree, I tell you, your layout will be the most important factor that you will have. Because buyers coming in all look at layout. Buyers coming in all want to stay. Want to stay means the layout is an important part. That's why we have to put a lot of focus in the layout itself. But based on the estimation that we have, we might have a 2761 per square foot average in the terms of the 3-bedroom. If anything lower means that it's actually developer is cutting their margin for you. Very nice for you.
For 3-bedroom layout, somehow also we have a few options 7 layouts altogether.
Wow.
Broken into 3-bedroom and also 3-bedroom premium. Okay? So for the 3-bedroom, this is the smallest 3-bedroom, 947 square feet. Okay, this is a 3-bedroom dumbbell. I realized recently actually quite a bit of 3-bedroom dumbbell. In this sense, I think first thing first is that it's quite a very efficient layout, but of course there is no privacy because it's a dumbbell. Once you enter the unit, you can pretty much see and everything, okay? And second thing is that this kitchen, this very interesting, is a hackable wall, which frankly I don't think it will be of much use because why would we want to hack this part, right? Then we also have I would say, can we consider this a junior master?
So the plus point is that they have like a junior master. Can be worked as a junior master, but it's a toilet that is shared among everybody. So it's a common toilet plus attached to your bedroom. So you have a sort of like junior master. But the key thing, 947, no window. One thing that you want to take note for Nava Grove, all the bedrooms are typically bigger than all the units in the market now. I heard the common room is about 10 square meter. Because at first when I see the floor plan, I cannot understand where the size goes to. But now I know the size all go to the bigger room. Later we will do a lot of comparison, you will see they make much bigger bedroom, but they compromise on a lot of things. So we will see what is the more preference for a lot of buyers. So this is 990.
Yes, for the other two typical 3-bedroom layout, we have for the 990 square feet. Okay, so for this 990 square feet, we have seen a lot of layouts during at this point. So to me, it's also a very typical layout where this is the entrance, the foyer, right? Then we have a kitchen. No WC or yard, that's fine. Then we have a designated dining area, living, 2 baths. Pretty much similar. The only difference is maybe the foyer. But other than that, I would say it's a personal preference whether you want a short foyer or long foyer.
Now I prefer this, you have more privacy. This one you have more
Same size
privacy,
anyway.
but main key, all the kitchen and the toilet all have window. Comparing to a 947, which you don't have. Also, this is for the 990. Preferred choice, comparison, Pinetree Hill 969, but when we are shooting this video of this moment, it's fully sold. So no more 969. Don't need to consider buying because unless got people drop out, if have, we'll let you know. But it's no more already. So 969, why is it better? You have all proper the toilets and kitchen in terms of window, everything. But the 947 do not have. So like I say, Nava should be way smaller because it's thermalized. But you see the 3 compact, they have almost the same size, which means Nava will be higher price possibly. But don't know, I heard from developer they're going to launch cheap. I don't know how cheap, we will see. But if it's really cheap, then buy lah. But if it's the same price as Pinetree or slightly higher, I do not think this is a good option because comparable wise, you are going to lose out. Because next time resale, 969 in Pinetree will definitely win you.
Because for this Nava, even if you were to launch at 2.5 PSF, right, it's actually 2.37 million. And the average transacted price for this Pinetree Hill 969 square feet unit is 2.3 million.
321 million.
So you don't really have a better layout and yet you're paying a premium. Hence, we prefer Pinetree, but there's no stock.
If you can get Nava 3-bedroom below 2.1, then okay.
So,
but I'm just giving you a gauge. If anything below 2.1, Nava, even layout not as fantastic,
just buy.
Still can buy because it's a 2-bedroom plus study price for Pinetree Hill. But if anything above 2.3, I think you can look around first.
Now we compare the other two Nava Grove layout to Pinetree Hill's 969 again is fully sold last. But we also want to share with you again why we prefer Pinetree Hills.
Because these two layouts is very similar. The only difference I can tell you is that 990 have bigger bedroom for Nava. And they might be costing you more than 100,000 more, 200,000 more in terms of which floor you are getting. Even though this is fully sold for Pinetree, why are we comparing this? Because this will be your competitor in future. Why are we doing so much comparison between Pinetree and Nava? Because when we sell, they are going to compete. You will compete with Pinetree owners. Pinetree owners will compete with Nava owners because resale buyer, they don't care. They just come in and see which one they prefer and they will buy. In terms of your pricing, if you are getting at this price point in and your layout look a bit similar, only that the buyer come in, they might feel that you have bigger bedroom. Will they pay 200,000 more for a bigger bedroom that you have? I think they might not. Maybe there will be some buyers who prefer, but bear in mind some Pinetree owner actually bought at 2.2 million thereabout for the 969 square feet. We will still prefer the 969 for Pinetree, even though nothing to buy, but we will suggest to you what to buy for Nava.
Yep, okay. And then, so we are done with the 3-bedroom compact. Now we are going to look at the 3-bedroom premium layout. There are total 4 of them. Okay, this is the smallest 3-bedroom premium, 1098 square feet. Okay, so for this one is pretty decent. We have a bomb shelter, WC, basically everything that you need in the house. Even got a dry kitchen, private foyer, very nice dining area. Then living, and then your proper 3 bedrooms.
A very proper 3-bedroom with a nice dining area, with a WC, with a home shelter which you can work as a maid's room. And just outside the home shelter, you have your storeroom. Everything is placed in the right place. Not saying the home shelter is in front of the door or whichever, is all in the right place for you to utilize. And you have all your windows around, you have your dry kitchen, everything is good. And there's only 23 units of this for this CP1 unit. So 109, if we compare
to 1109. So for the 109 square feet, right, total there are 3 different type of layouts, okay? So over here on the screen, I have actually circled the parts where it's different. Mainly the foyer, as you can see here. And then some of the balcony, right, they will have this protruding wall or structural wall, right, which may or may not block your view depending on the spec that you choose. Okay?
So if you really want privacy, 1109 might be a better fit. If you are not worried about privacy, 1098 is fine also. But later we are going to share with you in terms of the facing, which one we think is maybe a better value for you.
So right now we take the Nava Grove, this 3-bedroom premium, and we compare to Pinetree Hills 1,216 square feet layout. As you can see over here, in terms of the absolute quantum, we are about 200k kind of differences. Nava Grove will be cheaper by 200k. And if you were to dive into the layout per se, the differences is not
one study room.
Yeah.
Because 1216 for 3-bedroom is actually quite big in the market context. If we launch at 24 plus per square foot, we might see 2.7, 2.6 plus million. So the gap might be 300,000. And it's almost the same layout, only for a study room. I definitely will prefer Nava more.
Yeah. Okay. For the 3-bedroom compact, we would prefer Pinetree Hills, but unfortunately it's
no more.
fully sold. So right now we need to look at the launch price of Nava Grove.
For Pinetree, the 3-bedroom premium is all close to $3 million. So there will be a group of buyers who want a 3-bedroom premium with maid's room, everything fit in. But they do not have anything to buy in this location below 3 million. Nava will be a good choice for them. So which means that if I buy 2.7 million, next time let's say I want to sell at 3.1. But Pinetree, to make the same amount of money, they have to sell at 3.5 million or 3.6 million. You actually have this gap, which is buyer who want to come in but limited budget, but still want a 3 premium, they will all go to Nava. They will not go to Pinetree. So this is the advantage that you have. But at this point, you want to do some round up for all the things because we have been talking a lot about all the different floor plans, right? So 2 compact, 2 bed, 1 bath, Nava. 2 bed, 2 bath will be Nava also. The 700 square feet, okay? 2 plus study, I will not consider this area. 3-bedroom compact will be more to Pinetree, but you do not have a choice anymore. So if Nava have good option that is cheap, then okay.
Look at the launch price.
947. But I would prefer Nava, the 109 and 1109. That's the main preferred choice for 3-bedroom.
Between both, right? How will we actually prioritize? Because for the 1109 square feet, right, it's actually of a less premium facing. So over here, we actually work out the premium. Assume if this 1098 square feet were to launch at about 50 per square foot more, we are looking at 2.79, right? And if the 1109 square feet is going to launch, which is cheaper by 50 per square foot, it will be 2.772. So the margin or the premium is actually very little.
Yeah, so why we will put this price? Because the 1098 all have a better premium facing. So there's a possibility that it will be $50 to $100 more. Even at $50 more, the 1109 will be cheaper. You actually get the privacy for free lah. And if it's $100 more, you might be a difference of maybe about $60,000, $70,000. Preference, overall 1109 CP3, Stack 6 is the preferred choice that we have for the 3-bedroom for Nava. Okay, so now 4-bedroom.
4-bedroom again, we have the estimated launch price based on harmonization. I think we have explained enough lah. So basically for the 4-bedroom, we are estimating around 2007 also.
Yeah, based on 2729 is the number. We will not go through the whole explanation again. 2729 is the number that you want to look at.
For this 4-bedroom layout itself, there are altogether 3 types and also 5 layouts. There are 2 types of 4-bedroom, which is what on the screen right now. 1335 square feet. Main differences, I have circled here.
Entrance.
Foyer. This is something that is very similar to Langtor Mansion. Right? You can see a 4-bedroom here, they do not have those kind of landscape living dining area, but they do have a very long living and dining area, like a portrait style. Okay, you can see the number of sitters.
So they put 8-seater lah. You go to Langtor Mansion, you will be able to see lah. The table is 8-seater also, but it's very narrow. Why? Because if they put too big a table at the show flat, you will have no walking space here. It's so narrow until maybe you cannot be comfortable in terms of dining together. It will not be a very grand 4-bedroom that we are talking about. You can see from here, both layout, the living room side is actually wider, the dining area is actually shorter. You do not have a place for a proper good dining area. That is quite concerning for 4 big. Like I say again, Nava all got big bedrooms, so the bedrooms are all very big.
But interestingly, for this Nava, their 4-bedroom is 1335, right?
Yep.
You want to be a guess what's Pinetree Hill's?
I know lah, 1292.
So I want to compare. You look at the size. Okay, first thing first, the entrance itself. Sorry, this is not an entrance, it's a private lift.
So for 1292 with 2 entrances, very rare to see in the market because it's very important to have 2 entrances for 4-bedroom because delivery all come from the back entrance. The front entrance is usually for guests, all these things.
Got a great view lah. It's very nicely done, frankly. Then you see this small little window over here, right? Means that you come up from your lift, right? It's bright, and then you have this landscape kind of living area, much more grander if you compare side by side.
Correct.
Then you got a secondary entrance because of private lift, right? So all your groceries, like what you said just now, can come in from the back door.
Where is the space different? First, they have 3 bath plus WC. Pinetree got 2 bath plus WC. Second, the bedroom are all bigger. That's why I say, just now I was saying, Nava got very big bedroom, very grand bedroom. But the thing is that, will you want to give up like a nice private live area, a nice yard area, wide frontage living room for a bigger bedroom? So this is something that you want to think about. And the price point here, now asking price 3.18 million for a 4-bedroom 1292 square feet. Nava 2005 per square foot. We will be looking at 3.34 million.
You think you have to write?
2006, we will be looking at 3.47 million.
The way I put it, the way we look at it, I feel that Pinetree Hill, this 1292 is damn good. In fact, one of the stacks is, I think it's fully sold.
Yeah, I think the 4-bed is actually built well. But of course, like I say, all the developments, there's certain product that we will prefer, there's some product that we will not prefer. Usually we don't see one developments that the 1 to 5-bedroom all built very well. And why this time round we can see so clearly because side by side got 2 projects. And we are comparing directly for 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom. So you can see some units we prefer Nava very clearly. Some units we prefer Pinetree very clearly. So this is actually the 4 dual key, which I wouldn't suggest.
It's a decent layout, but frankly, our main concern here for 4-bedroom dual key is that who will buy?
The thing is that we want to think about who will be our future buyer. People who buy in Mount Sinai will be people who want to buy for own stay majority. 80-90% majority own stay. I have not heard people, I want to buy for rental, I go Mount Sinai. I want to go Mount Sinai buy a property to rent out. Seldom we hear something like that. Unless the people staying there want to buy another property for rental, then they will buy nearby.
Okay. The fact is that because of the environment, we say they want to enjoy the kind of environment, greeneries whatsoever, right? Why would I want to go through the hassle to actually buy a 4-bedroom dual key, rent out one side where it costs you like not much privacy, and to get that few thousand financially don't make sense
For
also lah.
$3,000, don't make sense. Very difficult to sell. Don't buy. This one I wouldn't suggest.
I'm going to show you for this Nava Grove 4-bedroom dual key. In Pinetree, we have the same size. Let's look at how this Pinetree Hill plan their 4-bedroom. Okay. First, you got a private lift with a very nice window over here, right? Of course, once you come in, you will wow. This is a very huge landscape living and dining area. One more thing, best is this kitchen. This is a very nice kitchen. When we don't have to utilize this kitchen, what do? We open it up and then integrate it into the living and dining area.
Later we'll show you side by side between the 1550 for the 4-bedroom premium for Nava versus Pinetree.
Then you guys will know what
you will see. But now why are we showing these two? Because the dual key and the 4-bedroom with private lift is same size. Which means however cheap Nava go, it will be the same price. Because the PSF cannot be way lower than Pinetree, right? Because they are harmonized. So I don't know how to buy this. I just had to put it this way. But if you all really want to buy yours, you can buy. Don't need to be concerned about what I'm saying. If you really want to have someone to help you manage in terms of rental, then it's fine lah. But I'm just concerned it's very difficult for you to sell in future. And I was looking at the dual key, see whether I can convert into a proper 4-bedroom. There's no way I can convert also because these are all fixed proper. I wouldn't prefer lah. But the key thing is we get the same price. If Nava PSF higher, we will be even higher than Pinetree.
Based on the resale profile of the buyer that we know here, they will definitely go for a proper 4-bedroom. Last but not least, the 4-bedroom premium with private lift is a bit slightly bigger in size than Pinetree Hill. It's 1550. Comparison side by side. For Nava Grove and Pinetree Hills, 4-bedroom with private lift. So landing area of the private lift when you come out.
Yeah. So this side, no window because it's WC behind, which means the private lift area, I think you have been to many projects. Nothing wrong with this, because a lot of projects, the private lift open, the foyer area is very dark. It's normal. But Pinetree one is special. They put a window here, which means the area will be bright also without the lights. So it's not very commonly seen. This is one thing that is different. Second, this dry kitchen is this way. Which doesn't shows that the unit is grand.
Atas.
Just now I said I will do the comparison for you for Pinetree. So Pinetree is like that with the sliding door like that, which means if you want to cook, you close out the whole place. It's very rare to find a island kitchen for condo. Very rare. Okay, so Pinetree, I'm not cooking and I got friends coming in. I open the door, the whole living area will look like that. Because they will take the kitchen as part of the living, they will be gathering around this dry kitchen to have drinks, things like that. So your living look so much bigger. That's why this layout is, I think, one of the best 4-bedroom layout I've seen in the market, comparing to a lot of other developments, not just Nava. The only setback that we have, same thing, is the bedroom size for Nava is all bigger. So if you are looking for something that is, I really want a big bedroom, Nava is still a good choice for you. But in terms of the overall comparison of the kitchen, everything, the 4-bedroom I think is quite comparable. The only losing point is the private lift area and the kitchen area. Plus, Nava got 2 sinks. This is something that is better. Pinetree only got 1. But overall, we will prefer the Pinetree layout for this one. And it's rare to see a harmonized smaller than a non-harmonized. So that's the one thing. So if you are looking at 2,005 per square foot, Nava will be 3.88 million. If 2006 will be 4 million, but Pinetree now is 3.78 million. But
this is the current asking price and it's not a low floor.
11 floor unit.
11 floors.
Okay. So 5-bedroom lastly.
The 5-bedroom over here is
1,722 square feet. So you can see the comparison between two.
Yes. Okay. So let's begin. Again, this one comes with private lift and then kitchen again. 5-bedroom, frankly, a 5-bedroom with this kind of kitchen. It's functional, but it's not
But they got their dry kitchen and everything. It's just that, like I say, this one, the dry kitchen actually do it very well. So it blend into the living room.
But we have been to the show flat, so the dry kitchen itself actually is also just cabinets.
Yeah, correct. But just that this one, the Pinetree, the dry kitchen area, the island area, it make the whole house look much bigger. And actually, it's very comparable between the 4 and the 5. It's the same thing that we are going to talk about. Just except Pinetree, for the 5, they got a bathtub and a 2 sink. And they got a proper walk-in wardrobe that's inside. That's the only difference. The rest, I think, is very similar for both.
In terms of price point, currently for level 2, right, at the Pinetree, for the 5-bedroom, we are looking at a 4.318 quantum. And even if Nava Grove were to launch at 2,005 per square foot, right, it's also around the same price. Yeah,
so,
it's 4.305.
Yeah, but for Pinetree, you can see that the bigger units, the PSF are all higher. It's very normal because this area, mainly people are looking for big units. But ultimately, everything that we buy here, we need to consider own stay element. There will also be people who want to buy 2-bedroom for own stay for sure. Like Principal Garden 2-bedroom make $500,000. So good 2-bedroom layout. So that's everything that we have for Nava Grove. I just want to do a summary for you. 2-bedroom, Nava. For 2-bed, 1 bath and 2 bath.
Yes.
Both is Nava. But if you want to know the price point to enter, you can go back to the 2-bedroom. You click on the things, then you can see the pricing. Then for 3-bed, 3-bed got 2, compact and premium. Compact, nothing to buy now already because Nava will be a bit more, I wouldn't prefer because the 947, unless the price is below 2.1 like what I mentioned. If not, Pinetree also don't have 2-bed, 3-bed compact already. So 3-bed premium will be Nava. Okay. Why Nava? Because the Pinetree 3-bed premium is very big. For 4-bed and 5-bed, everything will be more to Pinetree.
Pinetree. So in a way, we do favor the smaller units except for the 3-bedroom premium in Nava Grove.
Yeah, so smaller units will mainly be on Nava side. Then the bigger one, go to Pinetree. That's all we can see for this development that we are talking about.
Yes, correct.
If you got anything that you want to understand, launch price, what price do we take, all these things, like what we mentioned earlier on, how do we gauge based on harmonized, non-harmonized, drop us a message. We will be happy to help you.
Yep. We'll see you in the next episode of Project Analysis Series. Bye!
Bye!